Welcome to the PropTech Show. Today we have the pleasure to present you Benoit Domercq, General Manager at HALIO. Hello.
Hello, Dries.
Maybe as first question, can you explain to us what is HALIO value proposition and what's the story behind HALIO?
Sure. HALIO has the ambition of being the world's most advanced natural light management system. And that means basically being able to control the amount of natural light that is coming into a building. Yeah. We all crave for natural light. It makes us more happy, more productive, help us heal faster for patient. And so we all understand the benefit of natural light. And however, we also have experienced in the past the drawback of natural light, which is, for instance, you are in your office and excessive natural light will blind you somehow, or at least you will not be able to see your computer. Sure. And you also experience being behind a window with the sun, that it became very often very hot. Yeah. Okay. And so, so in that regards, the glass industry, the construction industry, has found some ways of mitigating this type of drawback, but it's definitely something that is very much into the heart of the glass industry. And so HALIO is the meet between a California startup who developed a unique technology to bring this technology to the market, and the biggest glass manufacturer in the world, AGC, a global player in the building industry, creating glass for facades.
Okay, so a joint venture between Kinops and AGC.
Yes, so it's a joint venture between Kinestral and AGC, and we created two companies, HALIO International and HALIO North America, that are the exclusive distributors of HALIO throughout the world.
Okay, okay, clear. Should real estate developer have a bigger concern about natural light? Should design and build differently in order to have a bigger accent or bigger concern about natural light?
Well, we believe so. And I think the good news is that they already do. When you look at a modern building, you see more and more glass coming onto facade for various reasons, but definitely one of the driving factors was to increase the amount of natural light into spaces. We see that also as a residential, for residential application, but mostly for building, more and more glass facades are coming up. What we also see, and you can experience that walking into cities, is that all this glass is very often covered, either by internal blinds or by outside solar shadings. And so it's interesting that we already see the problems or problematic coming up, is that we all want this natural light, but as soon as it's coming up, we want to protect from it. Yeah. Okay? And in the industry, it's very interesting that when you see a blind down, it will never go up, basically. Yeah. And so what HALIO is bringing is an integrated solution where the capacity of managing the natural light is integrated into the glazing, and the intelligence and the cloud connection allow for a truly smart control that will bring the level of comfort for the user, and also allow the building to have very high energy performance.
Okay, okay, that's all clear. So we saw basically JLL acquiring decades ago Tetris, and recently, about a year ago, Atmos was acquired by Cushwake. So it seems that real estate brokers and property managers are more and more concerned about the design phase, which is way earlier in the real estate value chain than where real estate brokers and property managers are active. And so my question would be, are you reaching out to real estate brokers and property managers? And is there attraction on their side for HALIO?
Definitely, and of course we are trying more and more to reach out to them. I think the trend is very interesting. The building industry has been very conservative, And so I see a good trend of having those big brokers and developers reaching out to capture innovation into buildings. Of course, the HALIO value proposition will bring, we believe, will bring some big value for the users, and therefore the square meter value will be affected to those innovation. And so it's very important that we educate the market, that we present the solution, and that we convince very early those developers that this is the proper way of implementing innovation into their building. What's very important as well is that HALIO doesn't require a operating cost as high as all the alternative mechanical solutions. And therefore, for developers who are holding on to their portfolio, who want to mature their investment, it's also something very important for them to have a solution that will be robust over the lifetime of a building.
Okay. And then as a next question, could you share with us some examples where HALIO was deployed, some use case or?
Sure. I think what's very interesting is that the biggest reference so far that we have is actually in Brussels. And it's a very nice story about HALIO and a real estate developer, Extensa, which is one of the major players in Europe. And Extensa chose to install HALIO on their iconic building, which is the Gare Maritime on the tour and taxi site. And the drive for Extensa has been clearly stated as in a historical building with a defined architecture, that the level of comfort has to be the highest standard possible, as they are going to bring a very famous name as a customer for their office part. And the second drive, which I believe is a very good trend for the building industry, is the circular economy, where you try to minimize the number of trades, the number of materials, to achieve the same level of quality for the construction. In that regards, HALIO is extremely well positioned as you integrate a lot of the technology within the glazing, limiting the number of materials required to reach the same performance. And the third aspect, which is, I would say, an additional bonus, but which is very important, is that as, again, you integrate the technology within the glazing, you don't have to add something on the outer architecture. And so you keep the original signature of the building while having the same level of performance. And so this has been the three pillars on which Extensa has been choosing to install HALIO. We are also very fortunate, as we are a global company. We have also a project in the United States, also for inside application. And we are starting to have some project in Asia through our colleagues in Japan and Singapore.
Okay. Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And some thought leaders speak about material as a service. So do you think that product suppliers should try to shift in their business model from a product-based industry to a service-based industry? In other words, deploying some platforms, cloud platforms like HALIO provides, or providing sort of one-stop shop solution all around the product. So not just a one-off where you sell the product, but more service approach.
Yeah. Well, on paper, this is a great ambition, but we have to be humble and start small. However, we decided, and this truly was a differentiation factor for us. HALIO is a cloud-connected system. There are many arguments for which it's very important, but I will choose mostly two of them. The first one is the glass, and HALIO in particular, is the interface between the outside world and the inside. And so it has to understand in what environment it's operating. And in that regard, understanding the environment, meaning being able to exchange information, either with weather station, or with eventually, ultimately, with other building. Okay, that's not the case yet, but definitely weather station is very important. You need to understand what weather will be like for the week. So that's the first element, that connectivity is important. And the second example I'm going to choose is that when we rent offices, when we build something, we were going to build it for a period of time that is going to be limited from, let's say, 1, 5, 10 years. And there will be a revamping, there will be a renovation. But very often those renovation happens inside. And so a wall are going to be moved, offices are going to change, meeting rooms are going to change, and all that requires systems that are able to be to change configuration, to be reprogrammed in order to always fulfill the level of comfort and usefulness for the users. And so in that regards, you need to have a system that is able to change and go through evolution over time. Of course, we like to think that we are a natural light source, okay? And so as we are a natural light source, we could think of providing natural light as a service. But I think what we are most interested in is being able to provide comfort, okay? And through the cloud connection, through the users' feedback, we're going to be able to also improve our control algorithm to truly reach the utmost performance for the system. So of course we are providing a service to our customers. Saying that we are providing natural light as a service is a reach, but maybe hopefully at some point this could be a case.
Okay, sounds good. And as a last question for you, I would like to have your views on the fact that you can deploy, when you deploy tech on a building, you can increase its valuation, first, and second, you can also increase its life cycle through, for instance, predictive maintenance. And so, do you have any views on how is the fact of deploying HALIO on a building affecting or impacting the life cycle and the valuation of a building?
This is probably the most difficult question and things to do. Yeah. And mostly because the real estate industry is not structured one way. You're going to talk differently to people who are specialized in build to rent, from people who want to mature their portfolio, their real estate portfolio, and so your value proposition is going to be changed a little bit as we talk to these various people. But I think the same way you add value into your home if you put an advanced heating system, there is a value intrinsic to HALIO installation into buildings. The key point in that regard is we see the green building value increasing faster than regular buildings. Okay, HALIO is part of the solution for greener building. HALIO is part of the solution, as I mentioned, for building with an environmental impact that will be lower through the circular economy. And so in that regard, it's intrinsic that the real estate value will be increased when you use innovative solutions. But I think what's interesting, and that's something people need to realize, as HALIO is managing natural light, people working in a dynamic environment such as the one we provide tend to be more effective. They are more productive. And so these are soft data that we need to work with the real estate industry also to, I would say, put a number that can be filled into an Excel table to make sure that the investor understands exactly what he's paying for. Okay?
The returns.
Exactly. At some point, it's always about return on investment. And so when you put a system that is going to cost more than a traditional solution, you need to understand the value you're going to get out of it.
Exactly.
And so in that regard, we are also giving a service to our customers to be able to understand the exact value the system is going to deliver over time. It's not only the investment, but it's also what you're going to get over 10, 20 years of life cycle of the building.
Yeah.
As we are originally coming from the glass industry, we're also very sensitive on the life cycle of the product.
Yeah.
AGC is the only glassmaker with a cradle-to-cradle specifications. We are working on getting the same type of certification for HALIO. We will get it in the coming month because we believe it's also a very important factor to make sure that the life cycle of the material used is actually taken into account when making the investment.
Okay. Okay, that's clear. Well, thank you for your time.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Wish you the best of luck with all the future developments, and we will keep the community posted about all the new features, updates, and advancements.
Thank you very much, Idris.
My pleasure.
You take care. Thank you.